people don't realize is that social media is kind of the opposite of, of life with business to some extent. I think most of us realize that, our busiest times of the year are kind of that, October through March 1st kind of period. And then, usually from March to September, we're not grinding as much as we may have during that, third and fourth and first quarter. The reality with social media is it's kind of the opposite. When the summer months come, kind of May through September, social media traffic actually increases dramatically. And we're now in year 11 with Facebook and year 10 with LinkedIn, year 10 with Twitter. So you have a whole decade of statistics to kind of go on. There's actual real data that proves this. So one of the things you want to do is kind of be ready for that, both mentally and kind of physically, to take advantage of it for your business. So that all sounds good. I think the problem is for most, especially independent owners of their business, they tend to also like to take vacation and relax and gear it down a little bit during these months. So even though the results are there for the taking, sometimes mentally it's hard to say, oh, even though it's, June 30th and, I know social media traffic's at an all-time high, maybe I'll go play golf this afternoon kind of thing because business is a little quieter. So it really just comes down to maybe kind of having some sort of strategy in place to, to kind of have the best of both worlds. So like I mentioned, it's really May 1st through September 15th. And just think about it logically. People are going on vacation. People aren't working as hard as they used to. They have more free time to cruise the internet. Whether that's right or wrong or good or bad, that's for debate. But the statistics tell us that they're on social media a lot more during that time period. Obviously, they're using their phones more. They're using their iPads more. So what that means is that you have to kind of think about a few things. Again, I'm one of these people that always stresses common sense, common sense, common sense. And, when in doubt, just ask yourself, does this make common sense? Is it logical? So the first thing you need to think about is okay, Ken's telling me that social media traffic is spiking, but when is it spiking? When are the best times during the day to actually do my posts? First question, how much posting should I do? I think once or twice a day is fine. I wouldn't go more than that. And again, from a common sense standpoint, the time of day you post does change from the busier times of the year. Like right now, in my opinion, Friday afternoon is a great time to post. Good traffic to be had. I see a lot of people getting good results on Friday afternoon. As we head towards May and June, Friday afternoon becomes the absolute worst time to post. Obviously, most people take half days on Friday, and this is specifically for if you're geared towards focusing on entrepreneurs, business owners, high-level people. They tend to be playing golf. They tend to be not sitting at their desk or on the computer Friday afternoon. So what I've done is I've just kind of come up with the times I'm posting for my clientele during the summer months. And I find that, Monday morning, like this week, I would not post Monday morning. But once the summer months come, it switches. So Monday morning is a good time. 11 to 1 on Tuesdays and Thursdays I find are good times in the summer. And then keep it early on Wednesday and Friday. That's for me 6 years of statistics. I keep track of all this stuff. Those have been the hot spots for me. I'm not telling you that if you accidentally post, Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not going to get results. I'm just telling you that for me, my statistics have shown better results during those time periods, from May to September. These are little things to think about, but they make a big difference. So you have to kind of keep them in the back of your mind. Again, one of the things I find that separates the beginner from the expert in social media is actually thinking about what they're doing, having a strategy. The beginner is impulsive. They may get an email from one of their carriers about a new product or a new, something new that's occurring. Usually the first thing they do is they impulsively want to tell people about it, and they post it. They're not thinking about how the post looks. They're not thinking about when they're posting it. They're not thinking about where they're sending, the viewer. The experienced, polished, social media user, they take a deep breath and they figure out how to incorporate it into their weekly strategy, because they absolutely have a weekly strategy. It's not just a post-by-post kind of concept. It's more of the marathon, big picture type attitude. So I guess my point is these things all come into play. Now, the one thing I didn't mention is as we move into the summer, the weekends usually tend to be pretty dry. You don't tend to get many results. Right now, maybe not that bad, but again, usually on the weekends, most people, especially if you're trying to project yourself to be the expert, and you're trying to come up with some sort of business strategy, those posts are not going to get much traction. And that kind of takes us to the next kind of, the next thing to really think about, which is what are you trying to post? I think, again, third quarter, fourth quarter, first quarter kind of thing, you can be a lot more business savvy. You can be a lot more technical, because people's mindsets are on, the reality of life. But during the summer months, you got to kind of take it back a notch, because people, they want to relax. And even though your post may be the most well-written strategic post ever designed for, commercial insurance or Medicare or whatever, at the end of the day, it's going to get overlooked because people just they need to chill out for a second. That doesn't mean they're not, like I said, they're on social media. It's just when you're posting, you're going to have to find some more creative ways to get people's attention and to drive them to your website or whatever you're trying to do to convert them. So your posts need to be a little bit more creative. Maybe use a little bit more fun and exciting images instead of technical images of business and all that. And I think if you can kind of incorporate that into your posting strategy, you're going to be a lot better this summer, and you're going to be able to take advantage of some things. So the one thing I want to kind of end on is, and this is an important concept, and I don't think a lot of people realize it, you are in a competition on social media, okay? I think one thing we all get kind of overwhelmed with is we say, okay, I got to post something. What am I going to post? How is it going to look? Oh, my God, am I posting at the right time? And you're kind of thinking about all that, and you kind of forget that when you post, it's going on to all these people's feeds, right? So here's this feed I'm looking at. And I think the thing you got to realize is people they're scrolling kind of quickly. And your post may get overlooked. It may suck the people right in and they read it. But I think once you start to understand that the people are, 99% of the people who see your post are seeing it amongst thousands of other posts, you start to kind of think about the aesthetics of the post and how it's going to look. And I think that becomes a really important concept to get to the next level, is truly understanding how your post is being viewed amongst other posts. So again, this summer, people may be on their iPad, they may be on their phone, they may be who knows where, but when you're designing your post, make sure you're using the proper graphics to kind of pull people in. Because, if your post is something like this, which may be some well-written paragraph, it's totally going to get scrolled over because there's just nothing pulling people in. At least it's not pulling a high percentage of people in to, really get their attention and get them to the next step in the posting process. So I appreciate your time today. Try to keep things a little quicker. And next week we're going to flash back and talk a little bit more about LinkedIn. They have some new marketing tools that are really very impressive. We're going to cover that, and I'm sure it'll be a good webinar. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.